Welcome to February Reflections with me, Emma Potter. Welcome to February Reflections. Do you know, after I finished filming the January Reflections, I realised that I didn't want to call it Reflections. I wanted to call it Untangled. So, January Untangled, February Untangled. And then I forgot that I wanted to call it that, and now I've just remembered. So, maybe I'm going to call this February Untangled, which is what I originally wanted to call it. I just want to say a really big thank you to everybody who left a comment on my last video. I was so incredibly nervous about posting it. It felt very personal, and it was so nice. It was so nice to read that it meant something to so many other people, and I know that loads of people have discovered yoga with Adrian, and loads of people have downloaded the Insight app and have started meditating, and that makes me so happy. It really does. It really makes me happy. And so many people said carry on with the series, and that's why I'm here today. Although I'm clutching onto a piece of rose quartz for all that it's worth. Because it's been one of those months. Do you know, I wanted to film in my bedroom again like I did last month, because the energy is really nice in there. The energy in both our bedroom and Betsy's bedroom is really, really good. But it's so dark today, and I found lighting for January's video quite difficult. It's so dark because it's snowing. Today, I can't believe it's snowing. I think it's going to snow all week. It's a bit crazy. Everything's gone a bit crazy here in the UK. And we are supposed to be having Snowmageddon this week. I think probably by the end of the week the schools will be closed. And so I'm trying to get as much done at the beginning of this week as I can, so that I can go out and enjoy the snow with Betsy. Because what else can you do on a snow day but just go out and play in the snow? So everything's really dark upstairs. Everything's really dark downstairs, but I get a better light quality here because I've got the white background behind me. So for anybody who wants to know why I film against a plain white background, it is because my house is completely surrounded by really tall trees. And the only light that we get is in this room, and this room is painted completely white. So it works for me. I know it's a bit boring, but anyway. I'm going to be completely honest with you and tell you right up front that February has been really, really hard. I have struggled pretty much for the whole month, starting on the 1st of February. I don't know what happened with that super blue blood eclipse full moon, but it really knocked something loose in this house, and everything went mad the very next day. Betsy was sick. She's never sick, and she properly was sick. And she said that her eyes hurt. The light hurt her eyes, which panicked us a bit. So we took her to the doctors. I took her to the doctors, and he said that she was fine. But because she'd been sick, and I stupidly told the school, they said she wasn't allowed into school for 48 hours. So she had to be off on the Thursday and the Friday. On the Thursday she was fine. After she was sick, she seemed fine. And then on the Friday she was really ill. And it was quite stressful. She was, I don't know if you have this anywhere else in the world, but in the UK we all have this children's paracetamol called Calpol, and you just can't live without it. And we were just giving her Calpol, and it wasn't even bringing her temperature down. It was all a bit scary, really, and really stressful. And then she got better. Her fever broke on the Saturday afternoon, and then Darren got ill, and Darren was ill for over a week, and it was hard work. It was really hard work. Struggling to keep everything together and not get ill myself. I don't know if you recall, but in the January box that I showed you last month, there was a tincture called Immune Zoom. I pretty much have had the whole of that bottle. I was just having it in every glass of water to try to make sure that I didn't get ill. And I didn't get ill, but when Darren got better and Betsy was back at school and everything went back into its normal rhythm, it was then half term. And by this time I was feeling like I was wading through treacle. It really felt like that. I don't really know how else to describe it. I've started to feel slightly better now it's the end of the month, but the whole of this month has made me quite sad. I've still been doing my meditation and my yoga and getting out and walking a lot. So I've been trying to keep up those practices so that I can stay as healthy as possible. But yeah, there were times in February where I could have just curled up in bed and cried. But things are slightly better now. I think maybe after the new moon on the 15th. That was a weird week actually, because it was half term. It was Shrove Tuesday, Valentine's Day, and then a new moon. And this all came on the back of all the sickness in our house. And it was there was just some powerful energy. And for me, not all of it was good. I struggled a bit. I think we all struggle a bit sometimes, don't we? I wonder if maybe I struggle a bit more in the winter months, because I seem to remember feeling like this last year at this same time. So that might be something to think about. So consequently, I thought I was on a no-spend January, and I thought February would begin and I would be spending here, there and everywhere, and I haven't really. I've bought a few bits of yarn and a couple of books, but what a really nice swimming costume for Betsy with a cute little whale on the front. Every single swimming costume I've ever got Betsy I've wanted for myself. So I haven't been buying a huge amount. I have got some good things, some good free things to talk about today. And yeah, I should probably get started. So what have I been doing? Well, I got a book for Christmas, and the book is called The Signs by Caroline Faulkner. And one of my very first magical books that I ever had was Linda Goodman's Sunshines. That's such a good name. Linda Goodman's Sun Signs. It's like a classic. I remember having it when I was a teenager and losing it, and then I bought another copy of it, and it was the book that made me really believe in astrology, because I can remember at the time every single one of my friends and me all fitted into their sun sign descriptions in the book, to the point where there were there's little scenarios in the book, especially for couples. So it will be like Pisces woman and whatever man, and it would say something and it would be horrifically true. So that's my, go-to astrology book. And I'd heard about this book because it looks not only at your sun sign, but also at the other signs in your chart at the time that you were born, and how important that is on and a reflection of your personality. And so I'd got it for Christmas, and the first thing that you have to do is go and get your birth chart. And I thought that would be a horrendously stressful, time-consuming thing to do. But let me tell you, you must go and do this because you're going to love it. You go to astro.com, and there is you go to the charts and the free charts, and you go to free birth chart, and you do need to know the time of your birth. Now, I asked my mum, and she said, I don't know, sometime around 4ish, which is bizarre because Betsy was born at 4:18. So I just put, 4:10 or something in. And I believe that that's okay as long as you're sort of within an hour. But anyway, and what happens is it generates a chart that looks like this, and this is your birth chart, which just looks like a whole load of magicalness that you pretty much could never understand. And that's what this book is for. So you go around the chart, and it tells you how to decode the chart in this book. It tells you how to decode the chart and what the chart means on astro.com. So you don't need this book necessarily. You can find out everything that you need to know on that website, which is free. But my sun sign is Pisces, my moon sign is Aries. And then the important one, which is this one here, which is called your ascendant. Mine is Capricorn, and I never knew that. And when I read what it means to have Capricorn in your ascendant, it was like this massive, clunking, great big block falling into place. I see, I get it. I am so Capricorn ascendant. It is untrue. I'm very Pisces. I've always felt that I was quite a Pisces person, but I can see where the Aries moon comes in as well. But the Capricorn ascendant was just like the most amazing thing. What else did I find out on there that was interesting? It also has a section on there that tells you which planets are dominant in your birth chart, and it gives a few examples of famous people's birthdays, and everyone sort of had like one planet which was a fair percentage bigger than the others, and that's your dominant planet. Well, my dominant planet is Venus, and it was like 90% dominant, so I'm not entirely sure what that means. Yeah. It's just a really good fun thing to do. I've really enjoyed doing it. I've done one for Betsy. Darren doesn't know what time he was born, so it's a bit frustrating. You can do it without your time of birth of time, I was going to say then. but it's not quite as accurate because I think the planets move so quickly. I liked it. It's good fun. It's free. You should go and do it. It will make you happy. So I've been doing a lot of that this month. One of the comments that I had on my last video had mentioned this book, which I didn't talk about, but actually has influenced this series quite hugely and has influenced my life massively. I would say that this is a must read if you are trying to bring a bit of comfort and joy into your life. It's called Simple Abundance, A Daybook of Comfort and Joy by Sarah Ban Breathnach. It is hugely popular. So many people love this book, and it's just beautiful. Every day is special, and you can use it like that. So you can read it every day, and then at the end of each month, so at the beginning of each month, she gives you a quote, and at the end of the month, she gives you joyful simplicities for January, joyful simplicities for February. Try a red lipstick. Write a long, wonderful love letter to yourself from your authentic self. Create a sacred space. It's just got loads of really good ideas for connecting back with yourself, and I read it all the time. It sits by my bed, and on the day that this viewer commented, February the 5th was the day I read The World is Too Much With Us, and it is a poem by William Wordsworth. He wrote it in 1802, and it starts, the world is too much with us, getting and spending we lay waste our powers. And he then goes on to say that we are spending so much time getting and spending that we're ignoring nature and all of the beauty around us, and it's ruining us. And it really struck a chord with me because he wrote that over 200 years ago, which I find unfathomable. The first thing it made me think was, he would not cope today, would he, William? He would be horrified at what has become of us. But Sarah says, today many women would agree with him. We're chronically exhausted from the getting, the amount of energy spent earning a living and juggling the demands of home and career. And it's true, isn't it? We're constantly striving for more, or constantly striving to do something or be something, and the reality is that we're absolutely fine just as we are. Good old William. I'm a bit of a fan, I have to say. I've even been to where he lived in the Lake District, and yeah, he, in my opinion, is a genius. I've been reading another book as well, so I've got lots of books to recommend this month. So it's no bad thing. But if you can, honestly, do get that book. I think you'll love it. I also got this book, which I'd heard about quite a few times before, and it's called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. I don't know what I was expecting from this book, but I started reading it and I couldn't put it down. I read it in one day, and it's one of those books that I will read and read again. The message is, and it's quite difficult to put into words without sounding trite, but the message is that you have to keep your heart open, and that what happens as you get older, especially, is things happen to you and it makes you close your heart. And, you know, he says that that's a turn of phrase, but actually, if you think about it, you are actually doing that. You're actually closing your heart. And as time goes on, you close your heart against so many different things, and then that leads to you feeling anxious, depressed, stressed, and disconnected from the world. And so his message is, firstly, that you should keep your heart open, which I love. I think children do that really well, and we could learn a lot from them. But the other message is, which I find a lot more difficult to get to grips with, is that the thoughts that we think are us aren't us. That's hard for even when I'm saying, I find it difficult to even say it because my brain doesn't quite grasp it. Quite a few books explore this concept, and I know that Oprah is a big fan. He's been on Oprah quite a lot, Michael Singer. Yeah, so that kind of, you read that and then everything just seems completely different. If the thoughts that I'm thinking aren't me, then who is me? And Michael says that you are the person who is aware that there is a voice speaking in your head. It's a difficult one. A very good one. I absolutely loved it. I'm also reading at the same time A Course in Miracles, and that kind of follows the same concept. But on another note, I did read a book that was quite a fiction book called The Witchfinder's Sister, and I didn't write down who it was written by, but I'll put it down here. Yeah, The Witchfinder's Sister. Oh, it was a bit spooky. It was about the witch hunt in Essex in the... which century would it have been? It was before the Salem witch trials anyway. And it was much spookier than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a good old witchy romp. And it was a good old witchy romp, but it was also a little bit spooky. And yeah, there were a couple of nights when I put my book down and I was like, turn the light off, and every little noise made me like, oh no, what's that? So The Witchfinder's Sister, quite good. I also read Reservoir 13, and I didn't like it. I didn't get on with it. I like books that go into depth with characters, and this book was specifically written to not do that. And I found it a bit frustrating. Like, he'd start talking about one character and I'd want to find out more, and then he'd move on to the next character, and it was just not good. I have watched something, and all of my recommendations are a little bit, well, my next lot of recommendations are really UK based, so I do apologise if you are not in the UK and you can't get hold of these things and you don't know what I'm talking about. But there is a programme on BBC Two at the moment. Series 2 has just started. If you haven't already, you must watch this programme. It's called Mum, and it stars Leslie Manville, and it is utterly brilliant. So brilliant. It's so well acted. The script is fabulous. it's so delicately nuanced, all of the ways in which families interact. Darren couldn't watch it, the first 2 episodes. I think I watched it on the iPlayer. The first 2 episodes, he was like, this is rubbish. Why are you watching this? I can't believe that you're watching these people being so stupid. And I was like, I think it's genius. It makes me laugh a lot. So I really highly recommend it. And series 2 is on at the moment. Brilliant. It is brilliant. Although Leslie Manville, then I love her, but then I was a bit disappointed because she made a derogatory comment about knitting in the media. She was talking about her age and about the fact that there are more roles for older women nowadays. And she'd made some offhand comment about the fact that, you know, not all women over the age of 60 are sitting in corners and knitting. And I thought, well, actually, Leslie, there are lots of women sitting in the corner knitting, and men, and lots of women who are a lot younger than 60 doing that. So she annoyed me a little bit for that, but I'll let her off because she is so brilliant in this TV programme. I haven't talked about my word for this month. My word for this month is inhale. You know, the big drawing in before the year begins. I feel like that's what February is. That's what February means to me this year anyway. I feel like I'm getting ready. And it's funny because a couple of people have mentioned that they thought that I would talk about tarot. And I have fallen out with my tarot cards. I know, that sounds so silly. But I actually have. I haven't touched my tarot cards for a couple of months. And I just kept pulling the tower every single time I went to my deck. I pulled the tower. Now, I don't believe that there are bad cards and good cards, and I think the tower can be quite a good card in the context of if you get it every now and again. I generally think that it means that you're going to have a big change in your life, and I never automatically think that that's going to be a bad change, especially in the context of the other cards that I've drawn. But around the end of last year and the beginning of this year, every single tarot reading I did and daily draw had the tower in it, and I got really upset about it. It happened with every deck, and I know that I was focusing so much on it that was adding to the it's gone really dark. You know, I know that I was focusing so much on not getting the tower again that I was getting it. You know, my energy was flowing towards it, and it all got a bit much. And I was crying and I was upset, and I started, you know, having these crazy disaster scenarios going round and round my head. And I thought, right, I've just got to stop. So I've stopped for a bit, and I feel better. I think it was the right decision. I feel like, you know, my friend Heather had written to me and said that she is not getting on with one of her tarot decks, and another friend on my Yarn podcast, Claudia, she had said the same thing. And it's true. You definitely know when you want to use a particular tarot deck, or, you know, have a favourite whose energy vibes quite well with yours. I've got a couple of decks that I don't use because I don't get on with them. But this whole split, I've been doing tarot for a long time, and this whole split from it is a first. I'm such a baby. It's like, you're being mean to me, so I'm going to ignore you. Is essentially what that is, isn't it? I bought these, what do they call them? They're not tarot cards, they're called, I'm not going to remember. Oracle cards. I bought this Oracle deck called The Universe Has Your Back by Gabby Bernstein, and I've been using this every day and I like it a lot. My vibes speak louder than my words. I've been putting them in my Instagram pictures when I actually do an Instagram picture. Joy is the ultimate creator. They're lovely. True healing occurs when I give myself permission to feel whatever feelings live below the triggers. A lovely, lovely set of cards. You can get them on Amazon. I'll put a link in the show notes, which will be linked below. So yeah, I've been using those instead for everybody who's been asking about me and tarot and what's going on. And I've started thinking about tarot again these last few days, so maybe they will make a return. Maybe. I have got a new favourite. Oh, you all gave me some really good sweet potato recipes as well after last month's video. And this month, we go out to eat quite a lot at a place called Zizzi's, which is a chain in the UK. A pizza and pasta chain in the UK. And the reason that we go to eat there quite a lot is A, because they have a vegan menu, which is amazing, and the vegan menu actually has pizzas on it. They make their own vegan cheese, which is really nice. But I never have that, because I'm going to tell you why. But also the other reason why we go there is because Betsy loves the spaghetti bolognese. And for pudding, they do this ice cream, and the ice cream comes out in a little bowl for kids. It's really cute. And it comes with these 3 tiny little mini ice cream cones, so they can scoop up the ice cream and put it in the ice cream cones themselves. But then it comes with a dish of popping candy. Oh, Betsy loves it. So we go there quite a lot, and on the vegan menu is a green lentil ragu. And I have it every single time. It is delicious. I just love it so much. And so I decided to try and make it this month. And what I did, because I looked online, because sometimes, like, Wagamamas have their recipes in a book, don't they? And so I wondered if maybe Zizzi's had their recipe for it on their website. I couldn't find it. So I just thought, right, I'm going to make spaghetti bolognese, but instead of mince, I'm just going to put cooked green lentils in and see what happens. And it was so nice. It was so nice. So if you ever want to have a healthier version of spaghetti bolognese, just make your usual spaghetti bolognese and use green lentils. You have to cook them first. But green lentils are quite good because you don't need to soak them really. Well, I don't soak them. You just need to give them a bit of a wash, and they don't need to be soaked overnight or anything, and then you can just boil them up. I'll put the recipe that I used in my show notes. I wonder if I'm going to do a recipe every month. Probably not. I'm not that inventive. But yeah, I made it and it was amazing. So I did that. The other thing that I have done this month is, a couple of days ago, there's been quite a lot of press about something called Beauty Bank in the UK. And Sally Hughes she is I think she is the beauty editor of The Guardian, or is it The Times? I don't know. One of the 2 big UK newspapers. Anyway, she has set up a beauty bank with a friend of hers. And essentially what it is, in most UK supermarkets, there are food bank donation baskets as you leave the store, and you just put your food in, any food that you want to donate, into this basket, and once a week it gets collected and used to create food parcels for people who are struggling to be able to buy food on a weekly basis. And it's very similar to that, but it's more for homeless people. And she had found out through her work that it was really difficult. And I don't know why this had never occurred to me before, and it makes me feel slightly ashamed that it had never occurred to me before. But she basically had found out through some means that it was really difficult for women who are homeless to deal with having a period, washing their hair, brushing their teeth, men having a shave, basically getting clean, and having access to hygiene essentials. Because of course, if you're homeless and every penny counts, you're going to spend that money on food, and you're not going to want to spend that money on a can of deodorant or a packet of really expensive tampons. And it's quite small at the moment, the beauty bank. I think that they are doing it in the big cities, so London and Bristol, Birmingham, Manchester, etc. And you can donate to the beauty bank by sending anything that you don't use to them. I'll put a link to the address that you can send all of your stuff to. But also, the other way that you can donate is they have an Amazon gift list, and you can just go on there and pick, like I picked just massive jumbo boxes of tampons and sanitary towels and deodorant and shampoo, and then you can get it sent direct to them. How genius is that? I am so pleased to be able to contribute. And the thing that, when I was reading it, the thing that made me feel quite emotional about it is if that was me in that situation, I would want somebody to help me. So let me talk about my February Merkaba box. I have just re-signed up for my new subscription because my Christmas subscription ended after February. It had this beautiful love heart shaped rose quartz crystal in it, which as soon as it came out of the box, Betsy asked if she could have it, and I couldn't say no. But she's such a little love heart. Every time I've felt a bit stressed or a bit down, she comes up to me and gives me this and says, "Oh, this will make you feel better, Mummy." I don't know if my eyes or my camera are blurring. Let me have a look. I don't know if my eyes or my camera are blurring. That's hilarious. So yeah, she comes and gives me this and tells me that it will make me feel better, which is very, very lovely. So I really like that. It came with a couple of weird things that I'm not entirely sure what to do with. And the first one is this bottle of chai. We have tried it, as you can see. I'm not keen on it. The reason I'm not keen on it is it's a little bit cardamom-y. It's a bit cardamom-y. It tastes quite a lot of cardamom, and I don't like it. We had it in tea, so we just made normal tea and then added this. And yeah, I found it to just be a slight bit too strong. I'm a massive chai tea drinker. So Darren tried it at the weekend by just having that in milk, and he said it wasn't very nice. It smells lovely, but it is it's just so much cardamom. Oh, it smells nice, but I can't stand the taste of it. You know, some rice dishes where you have whole cardamom pods, and if you're unlucky enough to bite into one, it's like, oh, how disgusting. The other thing that I haven't done anything with this because I'm not entirely sure what to. Although I've just seen that they've got recommendations on the site, so hold on, I'll tell you. It's fire cider vinegar. And it basically is pure apple cider vinegar with herbs and spices. So we suggest mixing a tablespoon with honey in a glass of water for a refreshing pick-me-up. Sprinkling it onto steamed greens, splashing into soups and stews, or mixing with olive oil for it would be nice in the salad, wouldn't it? So yeah, I haven't done anything with that yet, but I'm sure that I will do. It also came with a cute little book on spirituality, guidance for a better life. And it's just got lots of little quotes inside it, just up my street. I like it. Talks about shamanism and Reiki and stretching and yoga and breathing. It's a really nice little book. But the thing that I loved the best came in this bag with a cute pentacle. This is my favourite thing. It's Mama Moon's Love Manifestation Candle. And it is called Oud and Rose. I don't know if you pronounce that Oud, O-U-D. Is it be Oud? Oh, it smells. I just wish you could smell this. Oh, my goodness me. It says oud is believed to draw your lover close to you with its rich and hypnotic scent. I think it's because it was February's box and it was for Valentine's Day. I quite like it though. It smells really nice. I haven't used it as yet. So that's what came in my mystical box for the month. I've been talking for quite a long time. I hope that March is going to be a little bit brighter. There's going to be 2 full moons in March, and my birthday, and Mother's Day, and it's the start of spring. I think it's going to be a funny one though, because I think it's going to be snowy and cold. At least for the first part of the month. It has snowed on my birthday quite a few times, so. I never realised before, I always thought I was a spring baby, but I'm actually a winter baby because spring doesn't officially start until the 21st of March, does it? 20th or the 21st, spring equinox. Yeah. So no wonder I like winter so much. Although I wonder if it makes me a bit sad. I don't know. Anyway, I hope that you have had a wonderful February, and I hope that you do your birth chart and it tells you loads of exciting things. And I look forward to seeing you again at the end of March. I have also got right back into knitting and crochet again, so which I hadn't been into for quite a long time, and this month just gone I've really got back into it again, so I'll be doing a lot of yarn podcasting probably in March. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing a bit more sunshine. I said to you at the end of my last video that in my almanac it had said towards the end of February there are 1 or 2 days where you notice that the light is coming back, and that did happen last Thursday. On a Thursday I take Betsy to dance class at 5:30 and it has been dark every single time, and then on Thursday just gone I took her and it was light, and then I go for a run and it was light for the run. It was really good fun. You just get used to running in the dark and then you forget what it's like to run in the light. And because it was light, it was like, oh, I didn't know that was there. And anyway, I'm going to leave you and wish you a wonderful March, and I will see you next time.